traveler. Thank you for being here. Tonight we have a new moon. In fact, it's a new supermoon. So, of course, we will do a rune and card reading to check in with the energy around this piece of the lunar cycle. We have two piles. Pile 1 will be this earth oil. And pile 2 will be this relax oil. And before we start our reading, with each pile, we will try a little bit of the oil out together. Take some deep breaths and ground our energy with the different scents of the two oils. So as always, remember that this is a reading for the collective. So feel free to take whatever resonates for you and simply leave the rest for someone else. Just take a moment to allow your intuition to guide you to the pile that is right for you right now. Or as always, feel free to watch both. I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the earth oil, then this pile is for you. Let's try a little bit of the oil on our hands. The earth oil has notes of saffron, vetiver, mushroom, and white peppercorn. So it's a very earthy scent, as you might imagine from the name. And I find it very grounding. So I often use this oil before meditating or before doing readings, especially in person with another person in the room, because it helps me to drop in and connect to their energy. So if this is the oil you were drawn to, let's do a reading. As usual, we will start by pulling some runes. To see what this reading is going to be dealing with primarily, what energy we're connecting to here. Well, pile 1, there's definitely movement here. You have Rido upright here, which is the forward momentum rune, the travel rune. It's very much like the energy of the chariot in tarot. So there's a lot going on right now, and It seems like it's something that you've been planning for a long time or waiting for a long time. And it feels like it's just starting to happen. And you can see some of the forward motion, the activation of perhaps something you've been working towards for a long time. Maybe it's a dream that you've had, something you've been wishing for, something you've been manifesting is finally starting or is in the thick of the forward movement period of that event or that dream or that goal of yours. So that's very exciting, but of course it also comes with uncertainty because it means change. So perhaps that's why you're watching this reading, because you're feeling a little bit uneasy or a little bit unsettled, or you're having some fears churning up because of this progress that's started to happen. You're starting to actually see some physical manifestations of the things that you've been thinking about in your mind or planning on paper. And it's very possible that it could be churning up some feelings of fear or even just anxiety, maybe not as strong as fear, because I think overall the energy I'm getting is this is a very good thing. This is something you want, something exciting. But, you know, any type of big life event or big change or transition is always going to churn up some fear. So, of course, that's very understandable. But if this resonates for you, then stick around and I'll pull some cards. And we'll see if we can get some clarity and some advice about this situation. Okay, we have the Ten of Swords and the Page of Wands. We have the King of Pentacles and the Strength card. So what I'm getting from this is basically imposter syndrome. So essentially you have either a talent or a skill or something that you've been working on that you don't feel like you're very advanced at yet. It's something that you love, you're passionate about, and you're very anxious because either you've made the decision to try to make this something that's been maybe a hobby or a pastime or a side hustle. Up until now, you've decided to try to make that your source of income. And you're coming up against a lot of self-doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome, as I said, wondering if you're good enough, feeling like you're not to the level that you should be if you want to pursue this, or if you're, you know, maybe you're struggling with the idea of charging people for your services or for your skill. Maybe you've been promoted at your job into a role that you have been thinking about and, you know, think that you'd be good for. Maybe you even campaigned for this new position, and now that you are being given that opportunity or being interviewed for it or something like that, it's starting to feel a little scary to you, like you're in over your head or you're out of your depth a little bit. And, you know, everyone, I feel like, except for maybe a very few exceptions, experience that imposter syndrome, even at the very highest levels. Okay, yeah, you're definitely feeling a little bit of anxiety that maybe the message I'm getting is you're afraid that you've flown too close to the sun. Maybe you're afraid that you can't deliver what you have been campaigning for or promising that you can deliver. Maybe you got really ambitious about a project, and now that you actually have to do the work, it's feeling a little bit overwhelming, or like you're not sure you can actually do what you said you could do. Okay, there's definitely a caution here that you aren't entirely wrong about what you are worried about or anxious about. It doesn't mean that it's, your worst fears are true or anything, but there is a message here to keep your eye on that and make sure that you're not over promising. Just try to temper expectations a little bit and be realistic, be gentle with yourself. Let yourself go through the sort of transformation period of learning and stepping into a new role. Don't expect perfection out of yourself immediately. Keep striving for, improvement, and monitor your progress and be realistic when you talk to yourself, and also, if you're working under someone or you have deliverables that people are expecting from you, just be really realistic with the deadlines you set and with the amount that you're promising and the time that you're promising. And if you run into a roadblock, then think about looking outside of yourself for some help. Maybe there's someone in your life who is a little bit better at this than you and has more experience and would be willing to guide you through some of the parts that you're unfamiliar with. There's also a lot that you can look up online, watch YouTube videos to learn about. So if there's, something like one small aspect of this project or job that you're really nervous about and you just don't know how to proceed, then give yourself the grace to learn it. Give yourself the time and the space to learn it, and realize that that doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing this. It just means that you haven't reached that part of the process yet, but everyone who knows how to do it had to learn. So, no one was just born knowing how to do this, whatever this is. It feels like a skill or a talent or something, and some people are born with natural tendencies towards being more cut out for certain things, but everybody needs practice. Everybody needs to put in the hours to master something. You're not born with mastery. So it's good that you have your eye on that, and that you care about delivering what you say you can deliver, and you care about the quality of your work. Just be realistic. If you can kind of step back and get a little bit of perspective and look at your work impartially, like as if you were an acquaintance looking at it, or if you were looking at, try to look at people who are doing what you're trying to do, and take note of your own feelings about their work, and try to analyze how you feel, how you want yours to feel in relation to others that you've seen. And you can kind of start building your own sort of approach that way. Let's see. Any other information or advice for pile 1 about this situation? Ace of Air, okay. Okay. So I'm getting the message that this might be something that was in your family, something that you're trying to do is maybe something that one of your ancestors did, or that even your parents did, or your sibling, or your grandparents, and maybe there's a part of you that might be trying to reconnect with some of the, family history, family lore, family business, maybe a twist on the family business. Maybe you're starting your own branch of something that you have had exposure to throughout your life, but you want to do your own version of it, and maybe you're getting some resistance from your family, or maybe you're getting the reaction from certain people of, okay, well, I've never heard of that, or that doesn't make sense to me, or alternatively, you might be getting the reaction or the feedback, oh, I've seen that before, or yeah, that's everybody's doing that now, or how are you going to stand out from your competition? And the advice is to really try to it's not to not take advice from others. Obviously, you need input. No one is an island. We all need support, and we all need things reflected back at us. We need to talk through things and process things with others. But you should be really selective about who those voices are, and pay attention to how it makes you feel when you receive feedback from this person. Do you feel like the feedback is constructive, or do you feel like the feedback is coming from some areas of projection or some expectations that person may have that don't have anything to do with what you're trying to accomplish? So just really being really ruthless about your boundaries and really curating the circle that you have around you that you are actually listening to. You can't stop people from, giving advice unsolicited, and I'm not saying that you should cut those people out or anything. I'm simply saying take that type of feedback with a grain of salt and kind of place it away off to the side, not in your forefront of your mind. Don't let those things that people are saying that aren't constructive or aren't aligned with what you're trying to do, don't let those things be the center of your mind as you progress, because that will feed your self-doubt, and those things can really get under our skin and get into our mind and live there rent-free. So you don't have to be super isolated or tell people you don't want their advice, or it doesn't have to be anything external. It's just simply internally where you're filing things. If someone is giving you input or feedback, just take a moment, either in the moment or later when you're thinking about what they said, and make a conscious decision to file it where it belongs. And this is useful in every part of life, but especially when you are trying to begin something new and you're putting a lot of effort into creating something. Everyone has opinions about it, and you will receive some very interesting comments because everyone has their own lens. Everything's filtered through our own lens. So you want to be really cautious about whose lens you want to see things through, or you want influencing you. Yeah. But, it takes a lot of courage to start something and try something new. And, I'm a firm believer that there's enough room in this world for all of our ideas. And I don't think that you should be terribly preoccupied with what everyone else is doing, because no one else can do things exactly the way that you do. No one else will have the exact same ideas that you have and the same sparks that you have, and no one has the tone that you have, and no one brings to the table exactly what you bring to the table. We all have a unique energy that's a blend of what we bring to this life from past lives and how we're moving through this life and our experiences here and our hopes and dreams, and it's a unique blend, and nobody else can deliver that exact thing. So even if it feels like, well, why should I bother doing this? This market is saturated. Just focus on what makes you feel like you're bringing your own original spark to the table, and it doesn't matter how small it is. There are people out there that will connect with that. And just focus on that. Don't focus on blowing up real fast, or getting, all this praise, or getting recognition, or whatever it is that we sort of pretend is the purpose of doing things. And just focus on expressing yourself, basically, and being true to your voice and getting your voice out there. That's the message I'm getting here. I don't know what it is that you're working on or doing, but I'm rooting for you. And I would love to know in the comments, of course, as always. But I wish you the best of luck. And the new moon is a great time to make plans. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing what you do. I hope this was helpful, Pile One. And I hope that you have a great new moon, really reflective and really, really productive and really helpful internal sort of processes that you're working on here. And I'm in your corner as always. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose this relax oil, then this is your reading. Let's try it out together. The relax oil, as you might have guessed, has lavender in it, of course, but it also has neroli, rosemary, and frankincense. It's a really dreamy scent. It's really good for getting ready for bed, of course, or calming anxiety, just winding down, and of course, relaxing. So I'll put that over here. So we'll start, of course, by pulling some runes to focus our energy and see what's going on for this reading. So quite a lot going on. Okay, so I can see here that there is a little bit of a conflict with someone that you love. We do have the Berkana rune face down, which is the mother rune. So that could either be saying that this is a female maternal figure in your life who is not actually your mother, or that it is your mother and there's a blockage there, and the conflict is creating distance in that relationship. I can see here that there feels like a conflict of interest for you, where you're debating between keeping the peace and standing up for yourself, or speaking your truth. So it feels like you're in a position where you have to choose between being honest or telling the truth, or speaking up about something you think is wrong, and pleasing this person. Which of course is a very tough situation to be in. And you have my, well wishes in that issue, because that is very painful, or it can be very painful and very confusing, just not knowing what the right thing to do is. So if this sounds familiar to you, or you connect with this message, then stick around and we'll pull some cards. Okay. Cards flying out right away. The Six of Wands and the Page of Wands. Okay. Okay. So the message I'm getting is that you feel as though this person, this either mother figure or maternal figure in your life, is not reacting the way that you would expect them to react to your accomplishments, or something good that's happening in your life, or something you're excited about, or that you've been working on. It's almost like you expected them to be proud of you, or you expected a celebration of some kind, and instead they seem irritated or like not supportive. And the message is that this is coming from fear on their part. This person is afraid of either losing you kind of growing out of needing them, flying out on your own and doing your own thing, and not being tied to them anymore. So it's a reflection on them being afraid that they won't be needed anymore. Or the sort of shadow side of that is that it's possible that this person doesn't want attention being taken. I don't know how to phrase it, but it's not that they don't want you to succeed, but there's something that is triggering them about the attention being taken off of them, or maybe, you know what, maybe this is a mentor and student situation where you've been learning from someone and you're starting to surpass them, and instead of being proud of you or encouraging you or going, you know, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I train, you know, knowing that training you or helping you come up is an accomplishment for them. Instead, they feel like they're being replaced or they're being surpassed, and it's kind of a projection of their own fear about their own value and their own worth. And maybe you recognize that that's what's happening, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're just confused by their reaction and you don't understand why they're not happy for you. But please know that this is not about you at all. This is about how something is feeling for them, and it may be taking them by surprise. This person may not be, you know, super emotionally evolved or able to recognize where their feelings are coming from, and they might be misplacing that energy into anger and putting it onto you, or irritation, or maybe undercutting you in some way, or, you know, trying to cut you down to size, that kind of thing, instead of lifting you up. That's the energy that I'm getting here. And just remember, you know, we got the Eight of Swords, the Magician, the Hanged Man, and the Six of Pentacles. And over here, flew very far away is the Two of Cups. So yeah, we can see that this is a partnership or a relationship of some kind, whether it's a working relationship or a family relationship or a friendship. But this person has really come to count on you and expect your help and support. And maybe you're trying to move out. Maybe this is someone at home and you do a lot of stuff at home and you help out and you are trying to move out on your own. You know, it could be that, and this person is feeling like, well, how am I supposed to take care of things here if I don't have your help? And instead of thinking about how you need to spread your wings, you need to move forward, you need to evolve and go on to your next step of your life, instead they're thinking about what they're going to lose if you're gone. And, you know, they always say if you love something, let it go. But it's definitely a situation where it's in your best interest to move forward. And this person's making you feel like you are kind of screwing them over by doing that, which is not, you know, it's not right. It's not a very loving reaction. I understand, you know, that we don't always behave as our best selves, even when we love someone. Sometimes we get caught up in how things feel in the moment for us, and we're not thinking about the big picture. And it's hard. It's hard to pretend you're happy for someone if you're only thinking about how it's going to affect you in a negative way. But that's a true test of maturity and a test of love, to be able to love someone in the way they need to be loved and encourage them to pursue, you know, what they're here to do. But it takes, you know, grace, it takes integrity, it takes maturity to do that. And you do deserve that from your close relationships. So the question is, what do you do? How do you deal with this? How should this person be approached? How can you sort of massage this transition? Because you do need to move forward. You can't stop progress. You can't keep your path from illuminating itself. So you've got to juggle. Unfortunately, if this person isn't going to be willing to see things from your perspective and put you first in this, because it's something that, you know, is yours, and you need to be the main character of this. Yeah. The advice is to lay down your burden. You're carrying too much. You can't be responsible for everyone else's needs. Okay? You only have to carry yours, and if you've been taught or trained otherwise, that is very common, and it's not your fault, and it's not even, it's no one's fault. That is a very common, especially in some cultures, the expectation to take care of your parents, or to carry on family, matters, businesses, homes, things like that. And if you know that that's not what you want, but you feel like you have to carry, like you're letting everybody down if you don't carry it, you're blocking your own happiness. And, nothing is necessarily permanent. If you make a decision that takes you away from the path that others expect for you, that doesn't mean that you necessarily need to slam that door shut or turn your back on that. It's very painful and very hard to feel like you're letting people down, but you have to decide, are you going to let other people down or let yourself down? Which one are you going to be able to live with in the long term? And, you can give other people the time that they need to process things too. Just like you probably take time to process things internally for yourself, other people may need time to process your decisions and how it affects them. But nothing is set in stone. If you decide to veer off to the side and some time passes and the heightened emotions settle a little bit, and then you decide, what, I think I can let some of this back in small doses. I think I can incorporate some of those people or things into my life now that I've set up my life the way I want it to be. But you need the space and the freedom to build that life that you want before you can decide what elements you want to let back in. But this 10 of Pentacles is what is awaiting you. That's what you're trying to build. That's the dream life that you're trying to build. And you can't get there. I mean, look how long it's going to take him to get to this castle where everything great is happening inside when he's carrying everybody else's burdens. It's too much. It's too much. You may have a period of juggling, going back and forth between your interests and theirs, but at some point you need to wean them off of depending on you, because you have your own stuff to do. And, of course, do it with love and try to have patience, try to wrap your head around other people's limitations and where their expectations might come from, and realize that that's not anything to do with you. And nobody else is part of your internal world. Nobody else completely understands what you're doing and what you're here for except you. So you have to be able to listen to your own inner wisdom about this. Your voice is the most important one here. Yeah. It takes a lot of bravery to walk a path that isn't what has been laid out for you, but I can see that you clearly have it in you, and you can definitely succeed. You're the magician. You can have anything you want. You just have to lay down some of these burdens that aren't yours. Don't carry things that aren't yours. You can help. You can help others. You can share, but you alone are not responsible for making sure everybody else is okay all the time. What about you? Relationships are supposed to be mutually beneficial. But if you're stuck doing this for everybody, then how can you build this? You need your hands free to build this. You feel trapped, but you actually have your arms around it. You can lay the burden down. It's going to upset people, it's going to disappoint people, but that is not your concern. Always do things with love, of course, but you need to be your own first priority, at least sometimes, at least for a period while you're building. And then once you've got your own oxygen mask on, then you can help others. But you deserve to be okay. You don't have to make everyone else okay at your own expense. That's not what you're here for, and that's not your destiny. Your destiny is to succeed, to have joy, to savor life, to feel the fullness of your experience. not to carry around other people's sticks. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much you're indebted to them, or feel like you are, or they tell you you are. Okay? It's just something to start thinking about, mulling it over. Well, it seems like you're in the midst of something pretty difficult, Pile 2, so I'm sending you a lot of love, a lot of support, and I truly hope that you feel empowered to listen to your own inner wisdom here and quiet down all these voices and kind of get to the core of what you believe and what you want to do with your life. And the new moon is a really good time to start that process, to start making small changes in the way you interact with people, to start planting seeds for what they can expect from you going forward. And, it doesn't have to be an overnight shift, but you can start small and start priming people for, a transition from you or a transformation from you. But I wish you the best of luck with that, and I'd love to hear in the comments how it's going for you. And thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in my next reading. Bye-bye.